Howdy folks, Tex Grebner here with Tex Grebner Outdoors. I hope you guys are ready for your Tex Grebner Outdoors Saturday Morning Cartoon Awesomeness, because we're going to make it weird this week. It is Illinois Archery Season 2018, week number 8. Also, I want to thank everybody that has purchased Tex Grebner Outdoors merchandise. I never expected any of it to sell. I want to also thank my producer for actually doing the designs. And if you want to support the channel in a way beyond simply watching the videos and still get something for your money, you can go to TexGrebnerOutdoors.com, check out the merchandise, and if you decide to buy something before the end of 2018, from now on to the end of 2018, use the code of WEIRD in your checkout and you can get 20% off all merchandise. Also, if you're a traditional bow hunter and you shop at Three Rivers Archery, you can use the discount code of Tex Grebner and get a discount on your checkout for your trad life supplies. Now, it's been a rough and rocky week, and it's been a short week of hunting, to be honest with you, because of the shotgun season cutting into the weekend and Thanksgiving coming up and all the stress that goes on. But the question is, did I break the whitetail curse? Because life ain't like the pornos and hunting ain't like the TV shows. And I bring you the reality of my Illinois archery season.
Well, it's the last day of first shotgun season in Illinois, and over the past couple of days I've been wearing out that VCR tape in the back of my head, replaying all my screw-ups and bad decisions. Anybody remember VCRs? Anyhow, I went and got a grunt call, and we're going to see if I can shoot my recurve accurately with the grunter in my mouth without ripping out my front teeth if the string hits it. Here's hoping. That's also why the first attempt's on film, because people aren't happy unless I'm ended up injured. But I'm going to practice with the grunt call in my mouth so that if I get another chance at a deer, maybe I'll be able to get it to stop. That went surprisingly well. Now I swear that it's like I got a whole bunch of hunting buddies right now, because you guys have been giving me hell. You'd think I was screwing up your hunts. But I suppose it's good that you guys are so emotionally invested in what I'm doing. Well, it started out great. Of course, we got Thanksgiving coming up, that cultural tragedy of the sins of white folks. And there's a lot going through my head. Am I going to get another shot at that buck? Did he even live through the shotgun season? Am I going to get a shot at a deer? Am I going to miss? Okay, so basically what it seems like is I've got to blow the call, readjust my mouth, and get back on my anchor point, as opposed to trying to blow the call without readjusting. So blow the call and then hit the anchor point. Let's see if I can't get 3 good ones in a row here. It's just so awkward blowing the call and being at full draw at the same time. I wonder why nobody makes like an elk reed or a turkey reed style grunt call that you can just have in your mouth. Well, that went much better. Now, it might seem a little silly to be practicing at no more than 6 yards, but it's a deceptively difficult shot to make. Well, I didn't manage to get any into the bullseye, but at least the angles are good. So we're really stretching it out here. This is 23 yards. And my friend Phil Mendoza from the Alpha Bowhunting Challenge and owner-operator of No Limits Archery, Phil Mendoza says the rule of thirds, which is twofold. The animal's vitals may be the size that they are, but the fact is the animal's vitals will shrink to 1/3 of their original size by the time your arrow gets to its destination because of the potential for random movement. Also, when you've got a living, breathing animal in front of you, you can expect 1/3 of your actual performance in competition. So for instance, me, I'm pretty good out to about 30 yards with a recurve, which 1/3 of that, 10 yards. So this is 23 yards, which is what that buck was walking. So I'm going to try this with the grunt call. Yeah. Not a real stellar group, let me just tell you. Trained to Hunt Tree Stand Edition. Gotta get down, get the arrows, get back up. So there's definitely an element of elevated heart rate here. Gonna give this a try at 12 yards. that's pretty all right. This hunt had a very forlorn feel to it. I wasn't able to get into my stand nearly as quickly in the day as I would have liked to, and I hadn't been able to hunt since the shotgun season started, and so I was anxious to get into my stand even if I didn't have high hopes. There's always the wonder and the fear that all the gullible deer might have been picked off during the shotgun season, because it is a very Darwin-esque population bottleneck type environment during the Illinois gun season. So I didn't have high hopes, but I had the chance, maybe 45 minutes worth of good daylight left, and so I slipped and slid my way down the muddy-ass hill to the shitty stand, and I sat my ass there till dark. At least it was a decently warm night, and it wasn't absolutely miserable. But there's still plenty of bow season left to go. There's just the wonder if I've squandered all my chances that I was going to get this year. New siding on the house, and I think that I'm going to have a good day today in the woods, because I'm getting there earlier than I normally would. And I'm not particularly religious because I was raised Catholic, so basically like the Marlboro Light of the pagan world. But the Bible verse, "Lord, don't let me be put to shame," keeps going through my head. As in, if a deer shows up, God, don't let me fuck it up. I had a real great feeling about today. Today was going to be the day that I'd break my whitetail curse. I just knew it. I could feel it. Everything was perfect. I had plenty of time to get into my stand before sunset. The wind was going to be right. The rut was still on. I'd had deer activity in the afternoon at this stand, as I saw on my trail camera. It was just at freezing point, which is funny because 32 degrees Fahrenheit can seem mighty warm if it's been cold for a couple of days. So every hunt starts out very hopeful. In spite of what might be the reality of the hunt, you always go out tricking yourself into hopefulness. And it was true. Everything was perfect. A doe even walked 15 yards behind my stand and squatted and pissed estrus so strong that I could smell it from the wind blowing my direction. Everything was just perfect, except for the fact that she didn't swing around in front of me and a buck didn't come to follow her, and she walked right past the tree stand that I wasn't in. So as the sun goes down and it gets colder and colder, that excitement heightens, but it also starts to ferment into despair when you realize that, nope, today ain't gonna be the day that I break my whitetail curse. I don't look down on gun hunters, but it's just not the way that I plan on doing business these days. And it was a beautiful day to be out in the woods, other than being on the wrong side of the shotgun season in Illinois. I thought I was getting to my stand with plenty of time, but naturally, I was wrong. There was a doe standing near the creek as I made my way down the hill, and I slipped on a patch of mud coming down into the creek, and she just lit out of there like I had shot a gun at her. Part of the reason why I quit gun hunting was because the only deer that I ever killed with a shotgun, I killed at about 8 yards with an Ithaca deer slayer. Fancy ass scope, and naturally I killed it at 8 yards. But you wonder about my dedication to getting the animal on film, and it does come out of that 5-point buck that I killed years ago, because I made the decision that I wanted to kill the buck more than swing the camera arm around to him. And so ever since then, that's kind of haunted me. It's about 10:30 in the morning, Thanksgiving Day. Full moon last night. Beautiful weather conditions. And I gotta figure that they must be on lockdown, because the rut can't be over just yet, and they can't have all been killed during the shotgun season, because I know that I seen a deer earlier this week right over there behind the stand that I was in coming this way. So I gotta figure they're on lockdown. Bad news is, and I'm not getting on my high horse because I've missed twice, but bad news is I seen in the brush pile over there, there's a fork-horn buck that looks like it was gut shot during the shotgun season, and now it's about half ate by coyotes. How's that for quality deer management? Odds are the buck I call the bastard is dead at this point. And it's just beautiful weather, so it's a pleasant day to be out in the woods for fall, early winter. And there is also the fact of, as much as I would like to have got it done earlier in the season, there's an element of pride that comes with sitting on the wrong side of Christmas, just going out every day as an exercise and endurance. Hunt started out a little bit rocky. I literally drove into the property, looked in the back seat of the Jeep, damned if the bow wasn't in the back seat of the Jeep. So then I had to drive back home. Then I got hiked down here to the stand. Damned if my can of Copenhagen wasn't sitting on the dash yet. And deer are funny critters. Sometimes they care, sometimes they don't. People get all wrapped up around the axle about scent control and blah, blah, blah. It really depends what a scent means to a deer. At least that's my guess. I'm not really a person that should be giving advice, seeing as I'm the one with the whitetail curse, but the truth is, from an ambush standpoint, if you can figure out on a property where the deer will organically be moving, and you can get up alongside them before they get there and be waiting on them, they'll practically walk up and introduce themselves. It's like if you were sitting in a convenience store and somebody walks down an aisle and you stand next to the end cap and you just punch them right in the face. You're not expecting that to happen. So if you can figure out where the deer want to be at and get there ahead of them, perpendicular to their travel, damned if they won't walk up and introduce themselves. Of course, me filming kind of complicates the issue. I'm painfully aware that I'm my own worst enemy, but at this point, it's what I do. The more difficult something is to do, the more prestige is attached to its accomplishment. And so I'm not going to pretend to you like there isn't a level of ego involved in the motivations behind traditional archery, because it is truly a discipline and it is difficult. And all animals have a flight zone, which is the fight or flight zone of those animals, where it is how close can you get to an animal before it decides to do something about you, whether it is to fight you or to run away. And a lot of the appeal of traditional bow hunting is the challenge of fooling an animal's flight zone in order to be inside of its flight zone without it knowing that you're there. Living your life inside of 20 yards and the limitations that come along with it cause an undeniable thrill that can be incredibly addictive and rewarding. But there are also limitations that can get in the way. Today was absolutely barren. The wind was out of the right direction, everything was perfect, and yet there was absolutely no movement whatsoever. Until I decided I was going to take a rabbit, because they were in season and it was in range, and I like eating rabbit a lot more than I do squirrel. You want to talk about making it weird? Rabbit out of a tree stand with a trad bow, kill with sticks. So I got to go down there, get my rabbit, get it cleaned, go do chores, go have Thanksgiving dinner. It's great because rabbits are in season right now, and I've never gotten one with my bow, and I really like eating rabbit a hell of a lot more than I like eating squirrel. So while it's not the whitetail curse broken, it was a hell of a shot. As one of my heroes in traditional archery, Tread Barta, once said, anything that God allows me, if it's legal, it's a trophy to me with a traditional bow. So, got a rabbit, mighty proud of it. Life ain't like the pornos, and hunting ain't like the TV shows. Wile E. Coyote might be my spirit animal, but the fact is, I managed to get some game with my Martin Hunter. Granted, I admit it was a little bit overkill using a grizzly stick on a rabbit, but who knows, maybe, just maybe, I might break the whitetail curse this year. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this week's episode of Illinois Archery Season 2018. As always, God bless all my sportsmen of America. Join the NRA to protect our rights. Please got my friends over at threeriversarchery.com. Thank you very much to those of you involved in law enforcement and those of you serving in the military. And thanks for watching Tex Grebner Outdoors.